This is Deer Hunt 86. Hi, everybody. Well, it's over for another year. I trust your deer hunting safari was a success. On tonight's show, we'll show you a few of the more spectacular racks and stories taken during the Wisconsin hunting season. In the TV 11 coverage area, of course. We weren't able to get them all, but by golly, we'll give it a shot. Here we go. Earlier I mentioned that the allure of deer camps in the hunting season revolves around the camaraderie, the surroundings. Once the deer are hung up and registered, then come the stories. For example, how'd you get this beauty?
Shoot the first one that comes along, get it over with.
Well, if that's the way you get a 12-pointer like this one in the Carter area, I guess that's the right advice. Strange thing about this deer hunting season in Wisconsin, 1986, despite the fact that the number of party permits were down and therefore the deer harvest could be expected to be lessened, nevertheless, in some areas, a lot of areas, the buck kill was up. Of the hundreds of bucks that I saw, however, this was the largest racked. 19 points, Marinette County, between Dunbar and Pembine, north of 8. Did he see this beauty before he shot?
I just got a glimpse, and I probably would have got a little excited if I'd seen the size of the rack before he shot, but I just saw the, glimpse coming off out of my left eye, and then he ducked behind these pine trees. And then all I could see was a front leg, and I just estimated about where the heart was at. You know, I come up 6 inches and over 6 inches and fired, and he bolted out of the pine trees, and I didn't know that I had hit him, right away, because I couldn't see him.
But he later found out. Saw another big deer at Pup's Irish Pub in Northport. And this fella actually fell asleep at the gun.
That was yesterday afternoon. I was sitting in the woods. I got a little tired, and I was taking a little nap, and I woke up, and there he was.
Is that right?
I seen horns, but I didn't know how much, and he took a step behind the tree, and then I couldn't see his horns, but I took a shot at him then. I couldn't see his horns when I shot at him, but I knew he was a buck when I seen him there.
How long you been hunting?
About 30 years now. So, you never know when it's going to happen. I guess you got to be out there.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got to be out there. You never know when the day is going to come when one comes along, a trophy one, so.
Especially after you've had a little nap. That was 17 points going on 20. For this 14-pointer, 210 pounds. Beauty.
Well, it was opening morning, and I had picked out a new stand. A couple weeks before season, I went up there and sitting in my stand, and I heard a couple snaps down in the woods, and I just kept staring over. It was down in the cedars, and I just seen a couple feet, and I seen his head.
A head on a 210-pound body with a 14-point rack. No wonder they call him the Horn Hunter. I saw at least one other buck that went over 200 pounds. 207 pounds, hog dress, taken in the town of Oneida, Outagamie County. Nice 12-pointer. There's one thing about these big old bewhiskered bucks. Regardless of where they were taken, how they were taken, you sure hear some good stories.
Hunting on this ridge, and he ran right in front of me, broadside, open field. At least a 10-point buck. I got 11-pointer. Gun jammed up. And
I forgot to take my safety off.
one shell was jammed, and
It come up behind me.
I was probably about 30 or 40 yards away from him.
it was the third buck that I saw today. I shot at it like 5 times, emptied my gun.
I only got one shot at it.
That's all she wrote. Went over, and there was no blood. Finally, I realized that deer is actually crawling away from me.
I dropped my gun.
And as I was climbing back up into my stand, the buck jumped up.
5 more times, and I shot 10 times at that deer, and I never touched him.
For one thing, I don't shoot that straight all the time.
And he shot and hit off a tree limb and hit him right in the back of the head.
They've all got away from me except this one.
A little later on in the show, I'll show you this one that didn't get away. Isn't that a beauty? More as Deer Hunt 86 continues. Well, that just about does it for another year. This has been Deer Hunt 86. Before we leave tonight, I would personally like to thank the dozens and dozens of you who called, with tips on deer hunting stories. I tried to get to you all. Sometimes that just wasn't possible. A warm spell meant that many of the deer were taken down early. But thanks anyway. If you have any comments, drop me a line. Al Sampson for Deer Hunt 86.